Kia ora tātou. Tēnā tātou I tēnei ahi. Kamihira ki te haukainga. Puhira ki tēnā koe. Ko koe tēnei I tūtuki nei I au. I tūtaki nei I au I te takutainga mai. Hei kanohi mo te kainga. Hei kamihira ki a koe. Kamutu kia koutou ko hara mai I uta I tai ke eke mai. Ki Tauranga Moana I tēnei rā. Tēnā koutou kia ora tātou katoa. Kāre kore ko kōrero hea te hunga mate. Ai tēnei rā ka rongo ngā taringa. Ai te āhuatanga o tētahi mate o roto o te puni kōkiri. Ko hika tangitū tērā. Ka tangiake, ko ia tērā kōriro. Te kanohi o te puni kōkiri pōneke. Mai rā, ka tangiake ki aia. Ka mutu ki wātātau mate. Me te kia no hoki koutou I te pō e moi. E moi. Tātou te hunga ora. Huri noa, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa. Kia ora everyone. What are you fellas doing here? It's Friday afternoon, for goodness sake. Must be a good kaupapa going on. I heard you had a great wānanga the last couple of days, and I don't know whether I'm going to bring something new to the kōrero, because I'm pretty sure that you've had guest speakers and all these shows, all these pavilions around the side that have given you plenty of knowledge. However, it's thank you very much for staying here at 4:30 in the afternoon, when you could be doing other things, although I hear you fellas might be having a bit of a kani tonight. Alcohol free, I heard. Just saying. But anyway, it's good to see you all, and thank you for coming here and being here for this conference. This is my third kaupapa for the day. I'm sorry I was a little bit late. This morning I had the opportunity to get across to Waikato, tainui to the graduation of about 16 graduates of the MBA program. And that was a collaboration between the college, the Endowment College, and Waikato University. So collaboration is on the mind when they were able to pull this third cohort to go through the MBA program. The second function I've just been to over the other side was at the Trinity Hotel, where they had actually, I think, under the current political climate where certain people are rearing their heads about this whole notion that some of you people, that's you people sitting here, are privileged people. Actually, they had a collaboration of about 5 health providers, Māori and Pākehā, together with the DHB for an alliance that they called the Whakareia Alliance, working in the Eastern Bay to look after services for Pakeke. So again, collaboration, alliances were on the table. And I'm fairly clear that the kaupapa of this hui was all about collaboration and alliance, so it's pretty good to come here and finish off the day. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and to share some thoughts with you. And thank you, Pirihira. Nice to see you again. I'm glad you stayed away from the dates of births of age and all that sort of carry on. Be that as it may, it's nice to see you again. E hoa I've been a minister for 2 years. And on becoming minister, it was really clear to me that, you know, look, there's no way in hell am I going to solve every problem that Māoridom has or will ever going to come across its plate. There's no way that I could ever do that. I decided that it's far better to concentrate on stuff that you can actually get some gains in and not try and be the God, stunningly good looking as I am. Don't try and be the God to te ao Māori, but try and get some stuff that you know you can get your teeth into and get over the line. I then obviously took up the titles of Minister for Māori Development, Minister for Whānau Ora, and Minister for Economic Development. And there's a clear reason for that. Minister for Māori Development, that's a no-brainer. But of course the change of name from Māori Affairs to Māori Development signals wanting to look into the future. The second title, Minister for Whānau Ora, was a no-brainer as well. That's our bread and butter as the Māori Party. That's how we want to operate. That's how we see Māoridom operates. And that, at the end of the day, is how we believe we can achieve some positive movement for our people across the board by dealing at a whānau level, not the individual, but as a whānau. Economic development, one, again, put us in the whole notion of economic opportunities that come our way. And it will be no surprise, of course, that things like the ture whenua and so on, the reform of te ture whenua is where we want to be. And being an associate with Minister Stephen Joyce allows me to get all the papers to have input into the economic development and the future of both Māoridom and this whole country. I needed in my space as Minister for Māori Development to concentrate on certain areas. And those areas are, and there's 5 of them, whānau, whare, whenua, whakapapa, whanaketanga. Whānau, I've already talked about that. Whānau ora, that's our bread and butter. Whenua, the reforms of Te Ture Whenua Māori Act is on its way, and there's a number of streams in that particular work plan. Whanaketanga, development, I talked about that, and the ability to move forward, and of course, whakapapa. Whakapapa is about the Māori language development, and we're soon to have the first meeting of Te Mātawa in about a week's, actually, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is the first meeting of Te Mātawa, of the board set aside to look after the interests of Te Reo Māori into the future. And of course, whare. Why? Well, because they all link up together, and clearly the work that's been happening and is going to happen in whare has huge impact, not just about building a house. Actually, it's about the well-being of our whānau, and you know that. All of you work in this space all of the time. So that's been the focus. And what happened was, when I first became minister, was that all of the Māori housing money, if you like, was located in MB, Ministry for Business, Innovation and Employment. But they happened to put it aside as a sort of a Māori housing unit, which implies your small little slot amongst a big huge tree, or a big work plan. I decided to haul it into Te Puni Kōkiri and call it a network, such that we wanted to be over every aspect of housing. We didn't just want to be in the one area of emergency housing, no, because our people actually, we should be across every part of housing in this country, right from helping those who just want to go and find a house, for example, all the way through to those who want to be building developers into the future. And so we have that pipeline, if you like. It sits at the forefront of the strategy that we're using in this particular area for the Māori housing network, and is pretty much our work plan as we go forward. So as you come to this fourth National Housing Conference since the first meeting held in Rotorua in 2010, and clearly in that time we've seen a drive by whānau to take ownership of housing. And today alone we've seen and heard, I'm pretty sure, of many examples, great examples of what can be achieved. I see it as I go around the country, I hear about it, and just by the displays around, clearly there's a lot of stuff happening in the housing space. I do want to acknowledge in that regard for today's conference, Tauranga Moana Housing Conference Committee, to Puhiraki, the chair, Kanui Te Mihi, to Victoria Kingi, doing some great work in Papakainga Solutions Limited, to Te Pio Kawe, of course from Tauranga here, Chris Napier from the Western Bay of Plenty District Council, Clark Kopu, Te Moana, Toi Moana Regional Council, Karen Paiko, Tauranga City Council, and to Leanne Gardner from Te Puni Kōkiri, Kanui Te Mihi, kia koutou katoa, for pulling the conference together. O mai te paki. So in pulling the conference together, I want to acknowledge your leadership and contribution and the work that you're doing to bring everybody together to talk about housing and the leads that we need to take into the future. The work that we can do to help Māori communities and Māori whānau in the housing needs area. It is the initiatives that you've seen over the last day or so that set a platform for building capability in the Māori housing sector through the sharing of ideas, sharing of information, and of course, networking is always important. As I said from the start, the theme of this conference, collaboration and strategic relationships, is hugely important, has pretty much been the theme for me during this day. There is some great work going on, springing up all around the motu, and I've seen it, as I say, as I travelled around. The housing projects you have seen and heard about during this conference are a prime example of what can be achieved when parties come together to work as one and collaborate. I understand that you may have heard from Te Aropa Trust and Richard Wickens, who was associated with that Papakainga development in Wellington. The partnerships, networks forged between Te Aropa Trust, the government agencies and local authorities underpin the success of that sort of development. Te Aropa is a tangible symbol of the success that occurs when a community pulls together to combine its expertise and resources. As I look around, I see others that I've seen in the many parts of the country. When I think about it, I think about Mangatawa, I think about Ngā Pōtiki, I think about Waiōhiki, I think about Waipatu, I think about the Tērna whānau at Ngā Ruawahia, I think about Āniawai. Who's from Āniawai? Right. Āniawai is in Ngā Ruawahia. Ricky Houghton and the work that's been done up in the north, and Kaitaia and many others. Ka nui te mihi kia koutou katoa. Those are the examples of the things that are happening in this particular space. But like all of these examples, like Te Aropa, we want to see more organisations involved in building houses, managing rental tenancies, providing affordable rentals, and developing home ownership programs for Māori whānau. We want to see a more coordinated approach across government agencies and local authorities to support the development of Māori housing. We want to see the provision of quality housing for all people from Aotearoa, and the activities of the Māori Housing Network, I think, complement the government's wider housing initiatives and contributes to our housing strategy called He Whare Ahuru. If you didn't know, more than a third of New Zealanders are considered to be severely deprived of housing. They're Māori. 1/3. With an estimated 12,000 Māori whānau living in severe housing deprivation. The Māori Housing Network that I'm trying to push through Te Puni Kōkiri is here to support and encourage Māori housing initiatives. People in the network hopefully are sharing their practical advice, the information, all in a real desire to help with Māori housing projects. I'm pleased to say I've seen the benefit of that work. They help whānau identify what their housing goals are. They help them plan to achieve these goals and link them to the resources that are needed. That means connecting whānau to people with specialised housing experience and funding support available through the Māori Housing Network. We cannot do it by ourselves, we must link up. Since the network was launched in October 2015, it has supported 88 housing proposals that will provide more than $24 million worth over the next 3 years to help whānau to live in safe, secure and healthy homes. Those 88 proposals cover a wide spectrum of housing needs, including projects that focus on home improvements in communities with high levels of housing disrepair, projects that help Māori organisations provide housing for whānau, and projects that increase the number of affordable homes for Māori. The Māori Housing Network, led by TPK, is supporting projects that will build 42 affordable homes and repair around 243 whānau homes into the near future. It is also funding infrastructure to be built or installed for around 116 social and affordable housing projects and papakainga housing on Māori land for whānau. The success of the Māori Housing Network will, to a large degree, depend on its ability to develop close relationships and work effectively in partnership with other stakeholders like some of you that have a role in influencing Māori housing outcomes. This will include whānau hapu and iwi Māori, other central government agencies involved in the housing and Māori housing, local government authorities and Māori housing providers. The Māori Housing Network intends to strengthen the government's relationship with Māori by ensuring a whānau-centred approach is central to its investment in Māori housing. I believe tomorrow that you'll hear from Di Grinnell, TPK Deputy Chief Executive, on some of this. The government plays an important role in the Māori housing sector through leading actions to improve Māori housing, but of course, I am not the Minister for Housing. There are 3 of them located in Parliament, and my job is to try and show that we can, as Māori, do just as good as anyone else in the sector and haul some of the goodies our way. That's what I'm after. And so far, the results have been pretty good. But we've got to do some more work, and we can best do it by working together. The ability of the Māori Housing Network to better connect central agencies and align their efforts will be critical for the network to achieve its goals. I understand that speakers over the last 2 days have conveyed a determination to give our whānau the housing they absolutely deserve. That's a great sign of the collaboration that has already occurred, and a knowingness that we cannot, each on our own, pull off what is necessary to see our families into safe, affordable and secure housing. Before I end, can I just comment briefly on a series of wānanga that's happening around the country at the moment to do with the Māori Land Service. These are wānanga that hopefully will allow you, Māori, to have the opportunity to have a say on how you believe the proposed Māori Land Service can deliver services to Māori landowners. The team is hearing from whānau about the services they want from this Māori Land Service. Some have raised the importance of building quality houses on whenua Māori. Of course, all of the feedback will be considered. If you want to have a say on the design of the Māori Land Service, there are still opportunities to do this over the next 2 weeks at wānanga to be held in Ngā New Plymouth, Hamilton, Te Kuiti, Taumarunui, Rotorua, here in Tauranga Whakatāne, Te Kā, Tiki, Gisborne, Kaitaia, Kaikohe and Whangarei. If you want more information about these wānanga, they're available from the TPK booth, wherever that might be. Somebody's pointing me over that way, over there. If you want more information about those wānanga. So concluding, Hoa, thank you very much for the invitation to be a part of the event, and I want to thank you for all the mahi that you do. As I look around and see some of the faces that I've come across in talking not only te ture whenua, but many other kaupapa amongst te ao Māori, I'm really confident that we have the cross-section throughout the motu of people involved heavily in the best interests or seeking to do the best interests of look after the best interests of our people in this housing sector. I see members of the Tērna whānau, I see others that I've met up and down the country at Kaitaia, all over. And I suppose the importance of this kaupapa was really borne home to me when probably about 6 months ago I went out with the TPK staff into my own rohe, which is this, the Wairiki, to a place called Waimana. I went out with the staff because they were doing assessments of houses in that area. When I went there, I went to one young fellow who had applied for some money through TPK to put up, what do you put those, those things you put on the top of roofs to get power? Solar panels. Sorry, it's a late day. Solar panels, and he had put his house, had moved the house onto site, put up his solar panels, and all fitted into a battery, and he was super, super happy. Why? Because he had 9 tamariki to look after, and he had finally moved home. He was actually more overwhelmed as well, because right next to him he had his father's house, which was a small unit that was still being done up, but he was so happy to live next to his dad. Right beside that he had five kennels for his pig dog, so he was very happy at Waimana, as you'd expect. But just down the road I went to pretty much a defining moment for me, which was to go on, actually there's been a number, that I went to a house with a pakek and his wife, and the assessment was being done on this house. It was a rainy day. They showed me the kitchen and where they stood and washed their dishes. I looked down and saw the dirt. I looked straight through the floor. I went into the bathroom. You couldn't go to that bathroom because the toilet was rocking, because it had rotted. I went into the bedroom, and on the walls it was all damp as anything, and the water was coming down the side of the house. And this pakeke, he had asthma, and they had their fire going, pretty much living in their living room. Probably about a month ago, I was in North, and I was taken to Moerewa. I went to one of the families that is being looked after by a whānau ora navigator. I went into this house. I found a mum with 6 kids in her house. Wasn't very nice. She was trying her very best for her family, but could not see any way forward because there was the family home that always lived there, always would, and they were catching the rain with their pots. And I've also been to Christchurch a year ago, where I was taken around some of the rentals that some of our people have to live in, Why? Because there is no other place to go, and they're scared to speak up, because if they get the boot out of their house, they've got nowhere to go. This mum took me into her house, one back door, no other door in the house. Everybody lived in the living room. No one could sleep in the bedrooms because they were too cold. They had one heat pump. She showed me the rat holes that the rats had come through, where the birds had come through the chimney. And all she said was that she had asked her landlord to fix up her letterbox because all her mails and her bills were being blown all over the countryside. I thought, man, if all you got to worry about is your letterbox, then I suppose that's your world. That's the sort of stuff I've seen. Gives me no pride in I suppose the efforts that we're trying to do, you are trying to do, all of us are trying to do to save and look after our people. On the other side of the coin, I know there's some greater things that are happening to help our whānau throughout the country, and you are all a part of it. Honestly, on this Friday afternoon, can I just say, as you have your function tonight and travel home after the end of this conference, please keep going with the stuff that you're doing. You're hugely important to our people. For my part, I'm doing my best to haul as much money out as possible, and I gave an absolute instruction to TPK, any money in housing must go out the door. There will not be any money left in the housing area at all. It must go out to our people. And I continue to move on that commitment to get more money from the other agencies, but we've got to do it together. I have a part to play as the minister with respect to TPK. You have a part to play too in the work that you do. If we can work together, all the better. Because one thing I'm clear about is sometimes, actually, all our people need is a little bit of information to know where to go to get the help, and they actually can do it for themselves. Sometimes they just need a little bit of a hand, and that's where all of us can play a part. Thank you very much for having me. Ka nui te mihi ki a koutou, mā te wāhi ngaro koutou manaki a tiaki, and thank you for all the good work that you do. Tēnā koutou katoa.
Koia tēnei, te mone hutanga te whakapua ki te ara tauroa, ki ngā pai maunga, i koia e te tini, e te mano, kia tau ki te toka o maumahara, e kani nei te hau marangai mate, e ngau kino nei te aroha
e. E hika e moi, tātou te hongora, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou.